Hey you guys, and welcome back. Today is going to be a very exciting video. I'm actually going to be doing kind of like a dupe debate style video. I did this on the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette where I did one dupe on this side and one dupe on this side, but today I have the actual palette that I'm going to be comparing it to, so it's only one dupe, not two. So it's not a dupe debate, but it's kind of the same idea. I'm going to be using the Alter Ego Temptress palette that recently launched. It is $16. You can get it off the Alter Ego website. I'll have it linked in the description bar below. I have a bunch of dupes of high-end makeup products. This is of course a dupe for the Sultry eyeshadow palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm going to be using this on one eye and I'm going to be using this palette on the other eye, and we can compare the two and see how they turn out. I've never used either of these palettes, so it's very exciting. I can't wait to use these on my eyes today. Alter Ego actually sent me this palette and asked that I do a video on it, so I figured I would just show you guys straight up how it applies on my eyes, like kind of like a first impression. They did send me two eyeshadow brushes as well, so I'll be using these on my eyes. They actually also sent me this palette, which was really nice. I've never even touched an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette before. I know this intro is super long, but I just wanted to say a couple things. I just hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think I hit it last night, but I woke up and I was at 5,000, which is so exciting. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to my channel and supporting me in my videos. I think I'm going to do a question and answer style video, so if you have any questions, please leave them in the description bar. They can be about anything. I don't even know if I'll get enough questions to do a Q&A, but just anything you want to ask me about anything, you can leave them in the comments of this video. I will also be doing a giveaway, but not till like the end of March, so just stay tuned for that one. I think that's everything, so thank you guys for watching, and let's go ahead and get started. I am drinking honey chamomile tea today. I have such a sore throat and like this horrible cough that is just not going away, so I am drinking so much tea. Also, I picked up a new candle. I get mine from Superstore. They're like a 3-wicked candle and they're really good. This one is called Lilac Meadow. I love the smell of lilacs. I love all types of flowers pretty much, but my favorite smells are lilacs and lilies. I love the smell of lilacs. Okay, I'm nervous to try out this palette. I don't really know what to expect. I'm nervous to try out both, honestly. This palette comes with 14 shades and this is what it looks like. It's kind of very similar to like the Bad Habit Shop Hush palette. And this is the actual Sultry palette from Anastasia. Obviously, they're pretty much the exact same as the other palette I just showed you. So I think I'm gonna use Anastasia on this eye and then Temptress on this eye. Super crazy. I've never swatched or touched Anastasia eyeshadows before, so this is going to be very exciting. I'm just going to start by applying some concealer onto my eyelids, just to use that as a eyeshadow primer. Also, I have not painted my nails such a bright pink in such a long time. I feel very much not like myself right now. These are like the pinkest my nails have been in like probably years. Like I really do think years. So, oh, actually I'm gonna zoom you up. I'm gonna start by taking the brush, the flat brush that Alter Ego gave me, and I'm going to take the shade Fresh from the Anastasia palette and pop that. Ooh, let's kick back to my lid just to set that makeup base in place, or the eyeshadow. No, what am I talking about? Concealer. There is a ton of kickback from that one shade. I don't know if you can see it on the palette. I don't know if I like jammed it in too hard, the brush. From the Temptress palette, I'm going to take the shade Lace, which is the dupe for the Anastasia one. I'm just gonna flip the brush and use the other side. Ooh, this one does not have like any fallout at all. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's like no fallout. I don't even know what look or anything I'm going for. This is such a scattered video. I'm gonna start by applying a shade into my crease. I wanna take the Anastasia brush that they gave me. I wanna take the shade Twig, which is this cool toned brown. Looks like, oh my gosh, this has so much fallout. I kind of forgot. I remember hearing all the stuff from people about Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows being really powdery, but those are really powdery. I'm just gonna apply this shade into my crease. And then I'm going to take the shade Uptown, which is right here. This is the dupe for the Anastasia one. I'm gonna do the same thing. Also, please ignore my like eyebrows right now. Oh my gosh, I'm such a mess right now. This has been a bad weekend. Kind of want to go for like a silvery look right now. Take the shade Cyborg from the Anastasia palette. I'm just going to take my finger, dip into it. It's like a silvery taupe shade, and I'm going to apply it to the inner half of my eyelid. That's pretty. I do like that actually, that's really nice. I do the exact same thing with the shade Sterling from the Temptress palette. This one feels really soft. The Cyborg one was a little bit, I want to say gritty almost. It wasn't super smooth. This one definitely feels a lot smoother. I feel like it's not going to be a color match though. Yeah, it's not an exact color match, I don't think. Oh my god, I just got silver everywhere on my lids. So this shade, I don't know, neither of them are like my favorite shade. I thought they would be a lot more intense. This one seems really dull to me. This one seems pretty dull as well. I'm gonna actually go in with a wet brush, just like a flat brush. Usually like my fingers give me the best payoff, but maybe for some shadows, fingers don't work the best. Just wet my brush with some MAC Fix Plus. That's like a little bit better actually. I don't really mind it as much now. I'm gonna do the same thing with the Sterling shade on my other eye. That is very intense, like compared to this eye. I feel like this one is more silver and more intense. This one's more like of a muted taupe almost. I don't really know how to explain that one, but this one's definitely more silver. I'm gonna take the shade Dystopian, but like very lightly, because as you can tell, I got a ton of fallout from those two shades. I'm gonna start packing this one onto the outer corner. I'm gonna take the other Alter Ego brush. This is a really nice brush, actually. It's really soft. I feel like it's, I don't know, patchy or something. It could be the brush. I'm gonna take the shade After Hours from the Temptress palette. Ooh, that's really dark. Definitely go in with a light hand with that shade. Like, I don't know, to me this eye doesn't look as blended as this eye. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm gonna take a different brush on the Anastasia side and take that same Dystopian shade and just kind of try and build it up without making it patchy. I don't think I like this look that I'm doing anyway, but moving on, I am going to take the shade Noir from the Anastasia palette, just the black shade, very lightly in case it's super pigmented, and I'm going to build this into the outer corner. I think that looks better now that it has black on it. And then I'm going to take the shade Stiletto from the Temptress palette, which is their black, and I'm going to apply it to my outer corner. This black isn't quite as pigmented as I thought it would be, but it's still blending out really nicely, and I can probably build it up as well. It's like a ton of fallout on both sides of my face. That's what the eye looks looking like right now. Definitely more intense on this side with the shimmer shade versus this side. I don't know, I'm gonna use my finger and go in again with this shade because it's just not intense enough for me. I don't know. I am going to take a big fluffy brush because I really want to use this shade, Bloom, from the Anastasia palette, which is this beautiful pink. This one isn't as fallout-y either. I think the shades, the two lightest matte shades had a lot of kickback versus the other mattes, so it might have just been those two that were really kickbacky. And to tone that down, I'm just gonna go back into Fresh, blend around the edges a bit here. I'm gonna take the shade Blush from the Temptress palette. I actually kind of do, I know a lot of people didn't like the color scheme, but I actually like the color scheme of the Sultry palette. The shades are all really neutral and easy to use, and then it has some like rosy tones to it, so I think it's actually a really pretty color scheme. And I'm just gonna go back into Lace, same thing as I did with the Anastasia one, and just blend the outside of the look a bit. So this is what the eyeshadow is looking like right now. There's the Anastasia side, and here's the Alter Ego side. So what I'm gonna do now is just cut off camera, apply the rest of my makeup, then I'll pop back in and do my lower lash line and then give you guys like my final thoughts. Okay, so I just completed the rest of my makeup and now I'm gonna finish off my under eyes. I did apply mascara and these Kiss lashes, and as you guys know, I never wear fake eyelashes, and when I do, I apply them terribly. This one applied so bad, but just ignore how bad they look. To complete my lower lash line, I think I'm just going to take the shade Twig again, which had like a bunch of fallout. This is from the Anastasia palette. Apply that to my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take the shade Dystopian, which was that dark brown. Do the same thing, but keep it closer to the outer half. And then I think I'm gonna take a little bit of Bloom as well, which was that pink shade, and just kind of dust it along the lower lash line. It's a very smudgy lower lash line. I actually hate it. On the other side, I'm going to take the shade Uptown, which was the dupe for Twig, which is this one right here. I'm going to apply that to my lower lash line. Then I'm going to take the shade After Hours, which was the brown. And then I'm going to take the shade Blush, dust that along my lower lash line as well. Okay, that one's looking a lot better. This is looking so smudgy. I don't know why. I'm gonna take the shade Pearl, and I'm gonna just take it with my finger. This is from the Sultry palette, and I'm gonna use that on my inner corner. Oh, that is pretty. And then on the other side, I'm gonna take the shade Seduction. It doesn't look like an exact match, but we'll see how it turns out. It's gonna pop on some lower lash mascara, and then that will finally complete this look. This look was an entire mess. I am so embarrassed. Okay, that completes the eyes. I have no idea what happened here. This was a really messy video. I'm sorry for that. I'm gonna zoom you guys out and then just give you guys my final thoughts on the two palettes. First of all, what side do you guys like better? What do you think looks better? Like this side, which was the Temptress palette, or this side, which was the Sultry palette. I don't know. What do you guys think? Which side do you prefer? Honestly, I think they're pretty much dupes. Like the shades from this palette, the ones that I used, pretty much matched the shades from the Sultry palette. I didn't really see a ton of differences in the colors. The thing I will say is that the Alter Ego side, the metallics were a little bit brighter and more intense versus the Sultry side. The Cyborg shade I used on my lid, it was pretty hard to get that full intensity on, even when wetting it. And I felt like this side was just not as intense of a metallic as this side. Like this side definitely has more shine to it. Pigmentation wise, I think they're both equal. I feel like both of them applied really nicely on the eyes. I didn't have any issues with pigmentation. The only thing is from the Sultry palette, the shade Dystopian, which was that brown, I felt like that one was a little bit patchy. In the Temptress palette, I didn't have issues with patchiness on any of these shades. The biggest difference, I think, is in the kickback. This palette had next to none. There was no powdery mess. There was no kickback in the pans. The metallics felt smoother. They weren't as gritty. In this palette, in the Sultry palette, there's just so much powdery kickback in here. They all kind of had this powdery mess. The metallics were also pretty gritty as well, like this Cyborg shade and Pearl that I used in my inner corner. They weren't the smoothest. So honestly, I think I would go with this palette. I know that people kind of have mixed feelings about copycat brands, but I think for the price point, like this is only $16. It performed just as well as the Sultry palette, if not better. So I feel like it's definitely worth checking out at least and seeing if you like it, especially if you just don't want to spend $45 or I don't know, like 50, I don't know how much it is in Canadian, on an Anastasia palette. So those are my thoughts on this palette. Let me know if you guys like this type of video. For the Temptress palette, I actually do have a discount code. I don't remember what it is. I've never had a discount code before, but I will have it in the description bar. I think it's either 15% or 10% off if you were interested in purchasing this palette. So at least that kind of like pays for tax. Anyway, that sums up this video. I need to go cook dinner and take off these lashes. They are irritating my eyes so bad. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the 5,000 subscribers. Don't forget to leave questions for me in the comment section for my question and answer. And I will see you guys in my next one.